I'll solve equations with my right hand and write names with my left. I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
I saw a tweet on Twitter. I know it's X now, but leave me alone. This tweet was basically arguing that Light, with the power of the Death Note, was pretty much able to eliminate war, reduce crime, and the only reason he's seen as a villain is because he killed 2 innocent people who were actually trying to stop him. And you know, it's that kind of logic that I feel like only seems to fly in the anime community. For some reason, we look at villains where the show literally goes out of its way to tell us that they're evil, and we're like, what are we doing? If you've seen Death Note, or even if you haven't, the premise is Light Yagami is this mad smart high school student who ends up getting the power of the Death Note through a notebook. He can write someone's name in it and boom, they just die, right? He uses it to carry out his own idea of righteousness and justice, essentially playing God. And honestly, it's a really good anime. It's just like intense cat and mouse story, and if you're a Christian, you might actually enjoy it more because it makes you wrestle with big questions, right? Like, or big ideas, right? Justice, power, control, people who struggle or deal with the God complex, right? But as good as the anime is, Light Yagami is not a good character. He's written well, but he's the evil in the show. Now, his motives are, I would say, appealing. Like, I get why people tried to defend him. He had a very twisted way about bringing world peace, and the Death Note gave him the power to do that. He wanted to make the world better and safer, but he committed injustice in order to bring about justice. It's really weird. Like, he put himself in the seat of God because he truly believed he held the power of life and death, which is kind of interesting. A human holding that power, right? Humans make terrible gods. We are broken, we are sinful, and that's exactly what Light was, a broken, sinful person with close to maybe ultimate power over life and death, trying to decide who deserved to live and who deserved to die. He killed criminals who never had a fair process. He killed people who simply don't agree with his version of justice. He wanted control by any means necessary, and he shows us exactly how broken people in our real life, when given power, often abuse it. Death Note isn't a story of a good guy trying his best to save the world, or a anti-hero using whatever means to save the world, right? It's the story of a sinful, prideful person who's willing to lose his soul in order to get what he wants, even if it costs him his own humanity.
That's right. I am Kira. And what can you do? Kill me right here? Hear this. I'm not only Kira, but I am also God of the New World. Kira has become law in the world we now live. He's the one who's maintaining order. I have become justice, the only hope for mankind. Kill me? Is that really the right thing to do?
And the wild part is, this does reflect real life, right? Kings, rulers, people in power, even on the smallest levels today, even often don't use that power to protect. They use it to control, to force their own vision of what the world should be. They want to shape the world in their image, and that's exactly what we see in our life. And if you go back to the Old Testament with me, right? It's in the Old Testament too. Most of the kings who were chosen to lead God's people, kings who were supposed to represent God, to do what was good and righteous, end up abusing their power. They lead the nation into idolatry, corruption, and rebellion. They use their power to serve themselves and to serve their own self-interest, and eventually it led the people in the Old Testament into exile. Here's the good news. Even though Light is a character who wields power to shape the world in his own image for his evil purposes, We have a God, Jesus, God in the flesh, come down in human form and showed us a completely different way. Jesus had all power, but he didn't use it to dominate. He used it to heal, to save, to bring people close, to bring people to God. He walked into the same kind of world filled with sin, brokenness, injustice, corruption. Light gave us the death of his enemies to build his version of a perfect world. Jesus gave us himself for the redemption of his enemies. Think about the real issue is that deep down, we don't want our enemies to be shown mercy. We don't want grace for people who are different than us or people we think that don't deserve it. I get it. I really do. But thank God that God isn't like us, right? Like Light is a relatable character because, to be honest, we all want control. We all want something to happen with the injustice in the world. We want someone to fix it, but we want to do it on our own terms. And that's what makes Light so dangerous. He shows how easy it is for the line between justice and playing God to get completely blurred. And he's a warning. Playing God never ends well. But the beauty of the gospel is this: we don't have to play God. We already have one. And he didn't leave the world in the hands of people like Light. He stepped into it. He gave us himself. He gave his life so that through him, the world could be redeemed, so that one day we will be in a world where there is no evil, no injustice, no power-hungry rulers trying to force their version of an ideal society or righteousness. And the crazy thing is, where it's starting is that it starts with us. The enemies of God, people far from him, people who didn't deserve mercy. Jesus laid down his life for us so that we could become his friends, his family. And now, with his enemies turning into family, he invites us not to take power and run with it, but to lay it down and partner with him in sharing the good news of the King who gave up everything so that the world could actually be made whole again. That's what we get to look forward to. And so no, Light Yagami isn't a good character. He's a great written character, but he's evil for a reason. Cool. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. Cool. I'll catch you later.